going on, everybody? This is the Cessna 195 from Alabeo. It is the only radial engine that Cessna ever built. They were built between 1947 and 1954. Roundabout, I think it was 1,200 of these were actually built. This one, by Alabeo, is modeled pretty good. It has some quirks, as all tailwheel airplanes for Xplane 11, or any Xplane for that matter, seem to have. Just like in real life, it has a mind of its own once you get it rolling. It comes with pretty much all the fun stuff that any of the Alabeo and Coronado planes come with. I personally think it looks a lot better without the fairings. It is kind of an updated instrument panel, which kind of broke my heart. These aren't really period correct, but who cares? It's a nice old airplane to take out and fly. About the only modern thing in here is a fuel flow gauge. I believe you got a clock. There's no GPS at all. If you know how to fly VORs, this will be really simple to fly. If you don't know how to fly VORs, you're pretty much just shit out of luck. Everything moves the way it should. The only thing that I have found that I do not like about this airplane is when it's running and you decide, hey, I want to put in a notch of flaps. There is 3 notches of flaps to this plane, and when you put one down, they all go down. So for the most part, I don't land with flaps with this. I could just trim and compensate for everything, but I'm kind of lazy. Don't always need flaps. The interior looks really nice. I love the windshield. The skylight makes for turning from downwind, base, and final a lot easier. You can see your traffic. But all in all, I think they did a really good job with this airplane. I'd own one if I could hit the lotto and actually find one to buy. I'll show you where we're going to head today. Today's going to be a short little ride. We're going to start down here at Blythe Airport. And we're going to go up to the Parker VOR for about 29 miles. And we're going to hang a right, fly another 32 miles, and up here to Lake Havasu. If anybody has never used a track IR, I highly recommend getting one. I'm going to be using mine. I use it all the time, even though once I'm up in the air, usually I just lock it, turn it off, and go back to using just, right click with the mouse and looking around. But if you can tell, this is your sight picture looking out of this airplane. You will not see what's in front of you. It can be a pain in the butt to taxi, just like any tailwheel airplane. Yeah, you can do S-turns and all that fun jazz. But if, for the most part, you figure out there's nothing in front of you, you can lean over here and look down the side of the cowling. With the track IR, that makes it a lot easier than moving around the arrows on the keyboard and whatnot. Alright, we're going to lock it back for just now. We'll go ahead and get our master and our alternator turned on. Let's see. Throw in the throttle. I do not recommend putting the prop all the way forward. Once we let go of the parking brake of this airplane with the throttle all the way back, this will go. It will not sit still. So about there, and for the most part, it's not going anywhere. Same with takeoff with this. Other people might have found the trick. I haven't. Do not take off full throttle. If you do, you're going to go hardcore left due to the torque of the motor. So I usually start with it about back in here. As soon as the tail wheel comes up, I advance it a little bit, throw in a little bit more throttle. Don't take off full throttle from the start. Bad things happen. It's kind of funny. Alright, go ahead and turn on our fuel boost. We will get this turned all the way over to run. That should be close enough. And about 95% sure nobody's magically standing in front of us. There we go. Go ahead and get that. Turn this down a little bit just because of the way I'm recording. My luck, you guys would never be able to hear me. Alright, we'll turn the fuel boost off. Oops, we forgot to turn on the beacon. Shame. Go ahead and get this turned to altitude before I forget, which I do 95% of the time. And we'll turn on the radio. Our very first VOR we're heading to, which is the only one we're heading to, is the Parker VOR. It is 117.9, so put in 117, And we could have went the quicker way, but it didn't. 117.9. We'll put it into there. Now our track up to there from Blythe will be, I think it said 350 on SkyVector. I'm double checking. I have 4-flight. Makes life a lot easier. We'll zoom into here, and we're going to move the heading bug. We're going to turn the course all the way to 350, right about there, for the most part. Now when we get to Parker, we're going to track the outbound radial away from Parker VOR over to Lake Havasu, and that will be about a 19, maybe 20 vector out of there, but we don't want to worry about that right now. Let's jump outside so you guys can hear what this thing sounds like. I said this is probably the sexiest sounding plane I have ever heard. Alright, back inside the cockpit. We're going to bring up the map here on the beloved Xplane. Come on, keyboard. There we go. We're going to from here up to Parker. I think Havasu is right there. It's not going to be that long of a ride. Alright, we're sitting here short of runway 35. I went ahead and got rid of the run-up. 90% of everybody knows how to do the run-up. It's nothing special. It's the same thing with every Cessna ever created. Like I said, for the most part, oh man, track IR is going nuts. Alright. For the most part, we're going to depart out of here, climb up to, I think we're going to head up to about 3,000. High enough to clear the mountains anyway. Double check the old 4-flight. Highest thing around us is 4,700 feet, but I think we can thread the needle through the majority of everything here. Double check the weather for Blythe. On the trusty 4-flight again. Altimeter is 2966. I just don't feel like dealing with the ATC on here. It makes me want to club a baby seal. Alright, we're sitting here. We'll go ahead and turn on our strobe lights. Turn on our fuel boost again. Mixture is all the way forward. We're going to put the prop about halfway. Let's go ahead and get this baby rolling. I'm going to roll out here onto the runway. I want as much of it as I can use. It's a pretty long runway. I think it's 5,000 feet long. I have to look back on the 4-flight to see exactly how long. We won't need anything of all of it, but we'll roll out here, get close to the center line. Like I said, the prop is not all the way in. I'm going to slowly advance the throttle, anticipating this to go to the left. As it comes up, give it some right rudder. Lots of right rudder. And as the tail comes up, give it some more prop, anticipating the torque. A little bit more throttle now, working our way all the way up to full throttle. As soon as the tail comes up, it is a lot easier. We're going to rotate around 90 to 100. There it be, and we're up. I'll advance the prop all the way now, and we'll climb out close to 120. It always likes to tell me I got some carburetor ice. Go ahead and chuck out the carb heat just a little wee bit. And there we go. That is the most easiest way to get this thing off the ground. Go ahead and start our climb up. We're going to turn a little bit to the left. As you can see, we're going to fly. Oh, that got moved. Or I just wasn't paying attention. I wasn't paying attention. Anyway, right about there. So we'll turn left a little bit more. We're going to fly about the 350, 352 radial to Parker. us a little bit closer. We'll head up to 35 just to be on the safe side. A little bit more left, kind of go between what's right out here on the edge of the cowling, just to the left. There's 35. Let's see if we can get this thing trimmed where we want it at now. There we go, that's pretty close. And we're intercepting the radio. And we'll shoot between this gap now. And we're far enough away from the airport. We can bring our landing lights back up and in. Like I said, this thing has no autopilot. So the entire time you're hands-on. There's no computer, nothing special taking care of everything for you. If you can fly this, flying VORs, flying radials, setting your trim, there's literally nothing out there that you will not be able to fly, and the flight simulator will. There we go. Got everything trimmed just the way we want it. Turn this to the left just a wee bit. Alright, we're coming up to 7 miles to the Parker VOR. About 3 minutes away. And we'll turn our heading bug a little bit here. Did you tell I'm not using my track IR anymore? As we get closer to the Parker VOR, this needle is going to get a lot more sensitive. For everybody that doesn't fly a lot of direct VOR to VOR stuff, it will get a lot more sensitive. So the closer you get, like we had done, I think a 20-degree course correction so that we could get back on course when we left Blythe. The closer we get, we don't want to do that. We'll chase this needle everywhere. So about 10 miles, maybe 15, you want to start looking about 5 to 10 degree course correction. If the needle's starting to drift away, start with 5 to 10 degrees. You either will stop it, you'll start bringing it back, or you're going to slow down how progressive it is moving away from you. If it still moves away from you, but not as progressively, try another 5 degrees, just baby step it back in. As you can see now, we're just about to pass over it, and we get full needle deflection. Do not chase it. You're going to just drive yourself crazy. There we are. We're now passing over it. We're looking for a 0, and we're going to go 020 heading. Go ahead and we're going to turn. We're going to turn to about 0. Start with 030. We're still kind of close. Should bring it in fairly quickly. As you can tell right here, this little arrow is saying that the VOR is behind us. I know a lot of people are watching this going, I know what the hell that little arrow means. But there are some people, like I said, that are die-hard GPS people. There we see, the needle's starting to swing back in. So yes, that little arrow is saying you have passed, you are tracking away from the Parker VOR. So as this comes in, we're going to turn ever so shallowly. Shallowly. I can talk, I promise. I haven't been drinking. It is only 11:40 in the morning. Alright, here we go. Go ahead and turn on to our course. Now we are tracking the outbound radio of 020 away from the Parker VOR. And as long as we keep this needle lined up, we will fly directly right over Lake Havasu. And if you looked at the miles, I think it said it was like 32, 35, somewhere around there. Yeah, about 32. About 32 miles is where Lake Havasu is. So we'll just keep an eye on our DME, track our radio, and we'll know when we get there. Easy as that. Another thing that I see a lot of people talking about is trying to decide their descents. When do I start descending? You know, how far out should I start descending? And it's really not all that hard to come up with. A trick that I like to use when I'm flying in real world, and even when I'm flying on here, is take your altitude, which ours is high again. But let's say we're at 3,500 feet. And our airport that we're heading to is at sea level, so it's on the ground. Zero. Nada. If we take 3,500 feet, and say we want to do a 500 foot per minute descent, so we'll divide by 500 equals 7. So 7 minutes away from our destination, if you want to be to almost the airport level, you need to start your descent 7 minutes out. With a DME, that makes life so much easier. If I wanted to be at, 0, right now I'm, 7 minutes away from the Parker VOR, but if I know my time, how long it would have taken me to fly from Parker VOR to Lake Havasu, I'd be able to figure out, okay, this is where, I have, X amount of miles. We'll say 17 miles at 7 minutes to descend. It's not all that different. We are close to the airport. We are within 10 miles. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my landing lights. Go through my GUMPS check, which is gauges. Everything looks good to me. Undercarriage, pretty sure it's still welded there unless somebody cut it off during cruise. Mixture is all the way in. Prop is it's close to all the way in. Like I said, we're not going to land with this with all the way. It's just not going to end well. I like to pull out my carb heat a little bit because this is going to start screaming at us about carburetor ice. And our switches. Landing lights are on, beacons on, strobes on. We're good to go. Go ahead and start our descent into here. Turn our track IR on. We are going to be pretty high, so we'll go ahead and pull back the prop a little bit, chuck back our power, start playing with some trims, and we'll get set up. We'll do a little bit of a forward slip. We'll keep the left wing in, and a lot of right rudder, and keep pitch forward a little bit. Still got our power back. Good thing they got a nice long runway here for me to roll out. Still keeping the left wing dipped down. A lot of right rudder. It's helping us lose a lot of altitude here. Not as much as I'd like. Still coming in excessively too fast. Alright, too white, too red. Lose our forward slip. We're going to hold our altitude. Bleed off some of this speed. There's 100. Still coming down. And we're going to float. There's no getting around it. Since I'm not going to use flaps, plenty of runway here. And you do not want to land this in a 3-point attitude. Bad things will happen. That's close to 80. There's the bounce I knew I was going to get. There we go. And be on your rudders. Be ready. Now you see how we got this attitude nose high or nose low, so we can actually see the tail wheel's not even on the ground yet. It's slowly coming down. Slowly coming down. It's almost down. There you have it, guys. I did a quick little back taxi. I didn't figure you guys want to watch me back taxi all the way down the runway. Heading into the ramp real quick. Find us a nice little parking spot. Looks like there's a flight school here with all these 172s. But yep, that's the 195 from Alabeo. We about took out a taxiway light. Never heard the end of that one. But yeah, this is the 195 from Alabeo. Fun little airplane. If you want to get out and practice some VOR stuff or just jump around small airports, especially out here in the mountains, it always makes for a good time. I couldn't recommend this airplane anymore to anybody just wanting to go out and get back to fundamentals. I think we're going to leave out of here and take a Cirrus out. I got the Cirrus a couple days ago. Have yet to fly it. Really want to get out and play with the G1000 and complain about technology. Anyway, guys, thanks for riding along. Take care.